What if I told you that one step of faith, no matter how uncertain, could change the course of your life forever? Imagine trusting God so deeply that you act even when the path is unclear. What could that do for you and for those around you? Let's dive into the powerful truth that trust and action go hand in hand and discover how they can unlock the future you were meant to live. Trusting God means something deeper than simply believing that He exists. It's about surrendering the need to control every aspect of our lives. It's about releasing the weight of fear, doubt, and worry that we hold on to so tightly. Trusting God requires us to lean into the unknown with faith that no matter what happens, we are not alone. But I know how hard that can be. I've been in places where my back was against the wall, and the only thing I could cling to was trust. There was no plan B. There was no backup. Just the belief that no matter how dark it got, God's light would find a way through. And let me tell you, when you let go of that constant need to have everything figured out, there is a freedom in the uncertainty. The world might not tell you to trust when things get tough, but faith tells you that even in the hardest times, something good is unfolding behind the scenes. The first time I truly understood the depth of trusting God wasn't when everything was perfect. It wasn't when I was winning. It wasn't when doors were opening wide and everything felt easy. No, it was in a season of struggle, when I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. The more I tried to fix it myself, the more I realized that my own strength wasn't enough. That's when I learned that trusting God means realizing His strength is bigger than mine. It's not just about hoping for things to get better. It's about knowing that no matter where you are, His plan is still unfolding and His presence is with you. There's something deeply powerful about releasing the need to control every step. Trusting God means trusting that He sees the bigger picture. While we see just a sliver of the puzzle, He sees it all. When we step into the unknown, we are not stepping blindly. We are stepping with a purpose that is far greater than ourselves. And that purpose, that path, will always lead us to exactly where we need to be, even if it doesn't look like what we imagined it would. When you trust God, you open the door to unimaginable possibilities. You stop limiting yourself by what you can control, and instead, you tap into what He can do when you're willing to let go. You may not understand it all right away, and you certainly won't have every answer. But trust isn't about having it all figured out. Trust is about holding on to faith even when things don't make sense. For me, there were moments when I couldn't see the way forward. I felt lost, unsure if I'd ever make it through. But when I trusted, it wasn't the situation that changed instantly. It was me. I felt the weight lift from my shoulders because I stopped carrying it on my own. Trusting God gave me a strength that wasn't mine, and it gave me the clarity to move in ways I couldn't have done by myself. Faith is powerful, but trusting God takes it one step further. It's the confidence to move forward in the uncertainty, knowing that He has already made a way. And when you begin to trust God like that, you'll see things shift not only in your circumstances, but in your very soul. You'll realize that you never really needed to carry the burden alone. His strength, His wisdom, His timing will always be there guiding you. It's not about trusting when the road is easy. It's about trusting when the road is hard, when you can't see the end, and when you don't know how it will all unfold. And that's where real faith begins. Because trust in God isn't just believing He will come through, it's knowing that He already has. Even before you take that first step, He's already there. But here's the truth. Trusting God alone isn't enough. It's not just about believing that He exists or even that He has a plan for you. That's the starting point. The real challenge The real power comes in when you take action. Trusting God without acting is like having a map and not moving toward the destination. You can sit there and admire the plan all day long, but nothing changes until you take the first step. I'm sure many of you have been in a place where you knew what you had to do, but fear, doubt, or even comfort kept you frozen in place. I've been there too. I've spent nights lying awake, questioning if I was ready, wondering if I was worthy of the journey ahead. I knew that I had the faith, but I lacked the courage to act. That's when I realized that nothing happens without movement. Faith alone doesn't create change. It's the combination of trust and action that sets things in motion. There's a story that I always think about when I consider the importance of action. I remember when I was first stepping into the world of acting, there were moments when I thought, I'm not ready. I don't have enough experience. I could have let that fear stop me, but I had learned to trust God in those moments of doubt. I had learned that even though I felt unprepared, the real growth came from stepping out despite that uncertainty. I knew I had to act. I remember walking into auditions and feeling like I didn't belong, but still I trusted that God had placed this desire in my heart for a reason. And every time I acted, every time I stepped out of my comfort zone, the road became a little clearer. It wasn't that the fear disappeared. It was still there, lurking in the back of my mind. But the more I trusted and acted, the more I realized that God doesn't call us to just stand still. He calls us to move forward, to take that step, and then trust Him with the next. It's easy to sit back and think that God is just going to fix everything for us while we wait. But trust requires us to partner with Him. It's not passive, it's active. Faith without works is dead. Every time you take action, even in the smallest way, you are demonstrating that you believe God is in control. When you act in faith, you move toward the vision He has for you, even when you don't fully understand it. But I get it. Acting on faith can feel like stepping into a void. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's where the tension lies. It's the trust that keeps you grounded when the uncertainty feels overwhelming. You see, you don't need to have the entire blueprint figured out. God doesn't always give you the whole plan at once. He gives you just enough to take that next step. And when you take that step, you make room for God to show you the next part of the journey. Action opens the door for divine intervention. And here's something else. Action builds momentum. The more you trust and act, the more you'll see how God moves in your life. At first, it's small things, small victories that may seem insignificant to the outside world. But they are monumental to you because you acted in faith. With each step, the fear becomes less powerful, the uncertainty becomes more manageable, and the path becomes clearer. You'll never know what could happen if you don't take action. Trusting God means stepping out even when you don't have all the answers. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions or the perfect moment. It's about moving with faith, knowing that God's hand is guiding you, even if you can't see it just yet. Every action you take is a declaration that you believe He is leading you to something greater than you can imagine. Every choice we make, every step we take has a ripple effect, and often we don't even realize the depth of that impact until much later. The decisions we make today shape not only our future, but also the lives of those around us. When you act with trust in God, when you move forward with faith, you set in motion a series of events that can change lives, your own and others. Think about the people who've impacted your life. They might not have made grand gestures, but their actions, their words, their decisions left a mark on you. They believed in something bigger than themselves, and they acted on that belief. Maybe they took a risk. Maybe they said a kind word at just the right moment. Maybe they made a decision that changed the course of their life, and by extension, changed yours. The beauty of it is that you might never know just how far-reaching the consequences of your actions are, but that doesn't make them any less important. For me, one of the greatest lessons I've learned is that faith isn't just about what happens in your own life. It's about the people around you. It's about being a beacon of light in someone else's darkness. Every time you choose to act on your trust in God, you're also choosing to be a positive force in the lives of those around you. It's not always immediate, and it's not always obvious, but that ripple effect is real, and the power of it is immeasurable. I remember once hearing a quote: "You may not be able to change the whole world, but you can change one person's world." And that's powerful, because in that one moment of faith, in that one act of trust, you could be the person who changes the course of someone's life. That might mean giving someone a chance when others won't, offering support when they feel alone, or simply leading by example. Trusting God and acting on that trust can become a legacy that shapes not just your life, but the lives of those who watch you, follow your example. We often underestimate how much of an impact we have on others. A smile to a stranger, a hand held out to someone in need, a word of encouragement to someone who's struggling. It all matters. The smallest act of faith can transform a person's day. And from there, who knows what it could do for the world. I've had people come up to me years later telling me that a single decision I made or a conversation we had changed their entire perspective. And I know I didn't do it intentionally. But that's the beauty of trusting in God and acting. Sometimes you don't see the impact right away, and sometimes you'll never see it at all. But when you move with faith, when you live in a way that trusts God, your actions become seeds that grow in ways you could never imagine. When you act with God in mind, you're not just changing your circumstances, you're planting the seeds for a future that can impact generations. That's the beauty of faith in action. It's not about you. It's about what you're leaving behind. It's about the legacy you're building, not just for yourself, but for others who will carry it forward. Even when it feels like the world doesn't notice, even when you feel unseen, the truth is you are being used in ways you can't always understand. And those ripples of trust and action will continue long after you're gone. So never underestimate the power of your actions. Every decision you make, every step you take is not just a step for you, it's a step for those who need your courage, your strength, and your faith. What you do in the quiet moments, what you do when no one is watching, can change the world. That's the unseen impact of our choices. That's the legacy of living in trust and faith, and it's a legacy that can last forever. So I stand here today to remind you of one powerful truth. Trusting God and taking action are not separate forces. They are the foundation upon which we build our lives. It's not enough to simply believe that God has a plan. We have to act in alignment with that belief. When we trust Him, we move forward, even in the face of uncertainty, because we know that He has already prepared the way. Our actions, however small, have the power to change not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us. Your journey is unique, and the road might seem difficult, but each step of faith is a step towards something greater. Your trust in God, paired with the courage to act, can create a ripple effect that transcends generations, touching lives you may never even know. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let doubt silence your call to action. Remember, when you move with faith, you're not alone. God walks with you, and His power is made perfect in your willingness to step out. So trust God, act boldly, and let your life be a testament to the unshakable power of faith and action. The world is waiting for you to make your move. Thank you.